Hi, you guys. My name is Oshun the Great. Alright, so today I wanted to speak upon how to get yourself out of depression. And this is really possible because as I was making videos today, I sit and thought about it. I am not depressed in my life right now, and it's insane that I can say that because I've lived my whole adolescence, my whole teenage years in depression. Um, and we're gonna get right into that, like why I was depressed, how long that lasted, things like that. But I have a list here of how you can actually get yourself out of depression, shit that society and doctors don't tell you. Now, I'm not gonna say it's 100% foolproof, but I do advise everyone who is depressed to try it out to see if it makes some kind of difference in your life. And it may not happen over a span of just a day or a week, but it's a consistent practice, that a lifestyle choice that you have to choose in order to be a happier, better, healthier version of you. So hopefully what I'm going to tell you that got me out of depression can help you, and we're going to get right into it. So brief recap. Growing up, I was a very unhappy child, mostly because I realized the environment I grew up in was very unhealthy. Not only did I grow up, I mean, I had it better than a lot of kids in poverty. Like I always had just enough, but the environment I lived in was very unhealthy, very abusive, very belittling, and very bad for my mental health state, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of that. And it was just because of the cycles that everyone, some certain families learn that are just very unhealthy. Not to mention, our society isn't very natural or normal. It's deemed normal now because this high-paced society and all the shit we're bombarded with on a daily basis is considered normal, but it's not really natural. So that's why you have a really high rate of suicide, even because our society is just so um, fast paced. It's really not natural. So that's why you have so much high rate of suicide, so much high rate of anxiety and depression. Because this is not the state we're supposed to be in. Our energy is essentially supposed to be leveled out like this, and now we're just like every day we're just like pulled every which way. Our energy is pulled up and down constantly. Even when we're just sitting chilling, we're not really just sitting chilling. It's our energy is pulled all the time, and it's really unhealthy. So that's why you have such a high rate of depressed, anxiety-ridden people, and suicide rates. Knowing that, that is the key essential thing to know, in order to even change your depression, to understand that this shit is not natural. Once you know that, you can stop trying to fit in, stop trying to please everybody. That is another thing that our society is very obsessed with, that I believe drives people mad or insane or to be depressed and suicidal, is we have all these expectations to be perfect. We have all these expectations to live by society's standard, to have a job, a 9 to 5, to keep a job, to take care of your moms, your family, all this shit. Like, and to have a boyfriend and girlfriend, to be married, and like all this shit is put on us, to be perfect and to be this American dream type ideal. And this happens in other societies too, but I'm just coming from this perspective. But we're honestly looked at to be this perfect person and maintain so much shit on a daily basis and live in an unnatural society, that's very insane when you think about it, when really we're supposed to just be being half the time. As long as our essential needs are taken care of, which is a place to stay, food to eat, and something to drink, essentially that's all we need to be happy or to sustain ourselves. There's people in Africa right now who have the most basic needs in life and they're okay with it simply because that's all they know. When we live in America, we're taught the disease of more, always wanting more, always feeling like, uh, we're nothing without the newest J's, the newest iPhone. Really pressured to work for nothing, just for more shit, or just how things look on the outside. We're never really truly focused on making our inner self happy. We just like the looks of things or the ideal of happiness. So that is what my rant is on why we have so many depressed people running around, and no one is exempt from that. I was part of that system too, and I still am in the system, but you have to learn about it and kind of distance yourself from it so it doesn't affect you as much. So that is where my list comes in to play, my friends. So you can get yourself out of depression. So what I just told you is essential to know of like why we feel first we have to know why we feel depressed. And a lot of times what I just told you is what's happening. A lot of people don't know why they're depressed, and they just take a pill and they think that, oh, well, it's me, when really it's the whole society and how things are set up. It really does affect us. Because human beings are not living in their natural state. But number one is the power is yours. It's all in the mind. When I say that, I'm just going in, you guys. When I say that, when the power is yours and it's all in the mind, our mind is very powerful. A very powerful tool. We can get ourselves out of any situation. But again, when we're in the depressed state, we believe that we are powerless, and we believe that the power is outside of us, that things are happening to us. But once we change our perspective and understand that the power is ours, we are creators, we can literally change our life and every aspect of it to be exactly how we want it to be at any given time. So meaning you can dismiss people out of your life. It sounds crazy. Whenever you want, you can make new people come when they want. You can change your job whenever you want. You can move somewhere on a whim. All that shit can change in like a day, even less than a day if you wanted to. But it's really up to you. A lot of people are scared to change things because of their comfort zone. But a lot of times when you're depressed, that means something isn't right and something needs to change. And sometimes it can be as simple as your living environment, your living situation. If it's very draining, if it's very belittling, if it's very abusive, you really got to check around you and see who you're spending your time with. Because a lot of times when I was very depressed, I was around people who were very negative, very like bullies, and it was my family, so I had to get rid of my family. Sometimes it is a very extreme case, but as far as something as depression, you have to make extreme choices in order for your mental health. So the power is yours. Understand that and start making changes. Number two, sorry, I hope you guys can see me in the sun. Don't give a fuck. And what I mean by that is knowing that a lot of depression, and this isn't for everyone, but a lot of depression is caused by giving a fuck about what people think about you, about what people want you to live like. And when we're so caught up in that dogma, we drive ourselves crazy trying to be perfect, and there's no such thing as perfect. Once we get out of the idea that we have to be perfect and we start having compassion for ourselves, a lot of the relieving depression is literally having compassion for oneself, which essentially leads to self-love, which is essentially relieves anxiety and depression and helps you to live in this coexist in this existence comfortably and even love others. So essentially just don't give a fuck, and it's easier said than done, but it's literally a practice. Like whenever you see your mind is wandering to something, and meditation can help with this, whenever you see that your mind is wandering to how someone thinks about you, you bring it back to yourself and be like, no, what the fuck do I think of me? What do I want to do today? What do I want to eat today? What do I want to wear today? And then coexist like a badass. Like literally it is that simple, but it's a practice if you're not used to it. So literally you have to take your power back and not give a fuck what other people think. And if someone's telling you what to do, for example, fuck that. Just do what you want. And that's number 3, do what you want. And it may be harder when you're young because you have your parents telling you what to do, but do what you want to the extent that you can. Even like if you have to sit with your parents, if they're the understanding type, and say, look, this is what makes me happy, I'm depressed, can I express myself through colored hair more, because that'll make my existence much easier. Even if you word it like that, that's some powerful shit. Like and if you're an adult, it's good to use your power to change your look, for example, because it's not everything about depression, but literally how you exist in the world it's like you choose your avatar. So it's like you have to do what makes you feel like a badass or whatever you want to present yourself as. Like for me, it was getting more tattoos, piercings. It makes me feel more like myself. So it's like that relieved my anxiety. When you look exactly how you want to look, or like the blonde hair that I have, like it started relieving a lot of stress because it released a lot of my pain from my childhood. My afro when I shaved it, for example. It's a lot of things you can do. Uh, just do what you want. And again, a lot of this is about going your own way to relieve your anxiety and depression, because a lot of times we're limited to this one perspective or this little box, and that's what's causing our anxiety and depression, because it's like we're trying to squeeze ourselves into this one ideal, trying to be perfect, and it's like that's not gonna work. It's gonna drive you fucking insane, you know. And then part of it is not giving a fuck about the trolls online, all of that stuff. So you gotta stop caring about what people think, like the how many likes you get, how many this and that you have. It's not about your stuff. It's not about your things. It's about how happy you are. And you have to sit with yourself and understand, like, what truly makes me happy. Is it when I paint? Is it when I dance? Is it when do I feel the most carefree? And then you do that thing. Sometimes we're scared of messing up. And we really have to just get past that and just do what we love anyway. So let's say you have a hobby that you're interested in, and it might be something like me for skateboarding. I'm so nervous to get in front of people and like fuck up, but I love it so much. So it's like you have to learn to push past that. It doesn't mean you're not worthy of that sport or that hobby. It's just a matter of getting out of your comfort zone and living freely. So yeah, learn to. That's actually the next one. It's so funny how these flow into the other one. So enjoy your best life, and only you can decide what that is. And again, stop giving your power away, but enjoy, live freely, meaning stop restraining yourself to live to other people's standard, but live freely. So don't hold yourself back on things that you know you want to do, because a lot of times we get depressed and anxiety ridden when we have an idea. It's like such a great idea, but then like we get scared and pussy out, and then we don't do the idea. So stop doing that. You have to just push past your comfort zone. And a lot of times, believe it or not, our comfort zone can make us depressed. My comfort zone was Florida, for example, and my comfort zone was not taking risks. But the more I took risks, the more I felt free, and essentially freedom is what I aim for. So the more I take risks, the more free I feel, and the more happier I get. And so that in return alleviated me of depression. Number 6, be happy. Again, this is all easier said than done, but be happy meaning, again, do what makes you happy. This life is yours and yours alone. And it seems selfish. Our society and everyone around us will have us feeling like we're selfish, we're crazy, or we're narcissistic. But that's bullshit, because being happy should be your number one aim in life. And I feel like if you ask anyone who's gone through life and you ask them, like, you know, they regret anything they didn't do because of like what, you know, a feeling they had. Like, you have to start just doing more things that make you happy. So live on your terms and your terms only. Number 7, society ain't shit. So meaning society is not as important as we make it out to be, meaning there's these guidelines put into place and rules put into place for the people who like act out. So you got to understand, like, this is all molded for people to be the same, and it's so stupid because everyone's born to be unique, and that essentially takes away the uniqueness that we are as human beings. If we say, oh, everyone has to act a certain way, it deprives us of an authentic experience. So realize that society isn't as big of a deal as they make it out to be. It's essentially the matrix, or this illusion that people make it out to be this important things, and it keeps people in fear. So it's like this invisible force keeping people to act right, but essentially the force doesn't even exist. It's all in our mind. So if we understand that the power is in our mind and how we make the society, we are the society and essentially. But since we've been taught so much fear-based beliefs, we think that we're being dictated every day to like on the under the scope, and that someone's there to dictate our every move. And really, if we change our mindset and our beliefs, we are the dictator, we are the ruler, and we really can change those beliefs and anytime we please. So knowing that, we really are free. So it's all in the mind. But everyone is slave to this mentality of what we've been taught. So we're all under the same dream, essentially. But it's never too late to break free of that dream state, of that spell of society that we've been taught from our ancestors, passed down to our parents, and so forth. Just knowing the knowledge will set you free. So the truth will set you free. So even me speaking that is making me realize myself how free we really are. But remember, society ain't shit. It doesn't really exist. We are the society. So just remember that we make our own rules. And if you're not pussy, you can live by your own rules, and happier you'll be. So let's say, for example, society tells you, okay, working a regular 9 to 5 is the shit. That's what you have to do. But you can make your own rules and be like, no, I'm about to work for myself, some shit like that. Or society can tell you need to be married by 35, but you can make your own rules and be like, nah, I think I'm gonna be polygamous. It sounds crazy. Only it sounds crazy because it's not the normal set of rules. So literally your life is what you make it, and I literally start living by feeling what feels good. And again, society will have you thinking that you're crazy by living by feeling, like you're not logical, you're insane. But usually our intuition is the first thing that comes to our mind, and usually our gut feeling, our gut instinct. So me being in Hawaii, for example, is the best thing I ever could have did in my life so far, because I feel at peace. Now I finally gained a peace of mind, clarity, things like that. But you have to decide what feels good to you and keep going with that feeling. Actually, I think it's bullshit that they don't teach us how to live by feeling, because it's literally taking our power away as human beings. It's making us numb, and we don't learn how to listen to our inner self and to give ourselves our need to feed our own needs and wants, and which deprives us and makes us depressed and unhappy. So society ain't shit. Remember that. So 8 is love yourself. So ultimately, it comes down again to what you want, putting yourself first. And I did a video about how to focus on yourself, which essentially that helps you. This goes hand in hand with that video. But love yourself, because ultimately I learned that no one else is going to do it for you, because human beings are very imperfect. A lot of us are wounded, and we walk around not knowing how to love unconditionally. But unconditional love is something that you can teach yourself. And how you do that, like love yourself unconditionally, is by compassion, accepting yourself as you are. And it's something that's very hard, because if you look at our relationship patterns, especially in the youthful groups, even in adulthood, a lot of us can't sustain a happy relationship, meaning we don't have really a relationship that's really long term. If it is, it always ends up in despair, because we don't really know how to love unconditionally. And it's going to be the same for ourselves. When we start trying to love ourselves, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fall in and out of love with ourselves constantly. But once we master the art of loving ourselves, no matter what state we're in, meaning in our depressed state, in our suicidal states, in our ugly states, in our worst moments, in our states where we think we're a bad person, we even own that ego self and the bad parts of ourselves, as well as the good parts, and we don't downplay our good parts. Even when we learn to love ourselves as a whole, and always love ourselves as a whole, no matter what, because life is always a consistent up and down thing, but we have to love ourselves no matter what. Once we master that, and we don't stop like pulling our own love away once we fuck up, it's about compassion, learning self-forgiveness, giving yourself room to breathe and room to grow, room to think, room to get lost, a room to not fit the standards. You can't beat yourself up because you don't fit some stupid mold that's preconceived. Once we understand that, and we learn how to love ourselves regardless, then we can love other people. And that's something that they don't teach us, and it sounds so cliche, but I really, that's something I learned at this point in my life, that other people will fail to love you each time if they don't love themselves, because everyone's just looking for love, but we don't understand that it's inside of us. And until we understand that, we cannot attract the good things that we want in life. Some people might click faster than others. Some people may take practice. Some people may happen in like they don't even know how the fuck it happens. But everyone's at their own stage in their life, and it takes time and patience. And it is trial and error. But yeah, my phone is dying, you guys. Oh, so passionate about speaking about this topic, though. I hope it helped you guys. Stay dope. Be dope. Be you unapologetically. Peace.